What's going on, everybody? Bel-Air, season 4, episode 5, titled Gorilla Glue and Duct Tape. Spoilers. Lamont, a lot happened in this episode, a ton. And when I was watching this, I was like, damn, is this really the last season? I don't think it should be, especially with baby Nikki coming. I think they should have a 5th season when these kids go off to college. That happened in the original show. Why not do it here? Maybe because the ratings are low. I'm not sure. One comment that I'm getting a lot in our recaps is, man, I didn't even know the show was back on. So maybe nobody's watching. I don't know. What do you think of that? What did you think about the episode? Let us know.
I really enjoyed the episode. I continue to say this is probably the best, well-balanced minority show that's out right now. They do a good job of balancing a good Black family that has done it the hard, honest way, with also giving you a little bit of the criminal element. And they also did a good job by blending a new audience of young people together, because this young cast they got, man, these stars, they're going somewhere. I like all of them. And you're right, this thing deserves a season 5, but on the back end of season 5s comes these bigger royalty checks and stuff like that. And I think the network just didn't want to do all that, which is silly. And they needed to advertise this thing a little more than what they done.
Yeah, this is true. It kind of snuck up on me as well. But like you said, man, yeah, we both thoroughly enjoyed the episode. If anybody's watching this that's in charge, consider a season 5 if it makes sense, financially, because I know that's important. And maybe we can have Hillary back as well, since she's been written out of the show. But it was good. I will say one criticism, Lamont, with this episode, and really the whole season or the whole show, it seems like they resolve issues fairly quickly, or at least I thought that early on in the episode. But with the way that this episode ended, I may have to walk that back. Reason why, I mean, we got Will and Carlton beating up G-Wagons, but then they're released from jail the next day. But then they got to go to some type of, not community college, but counseling or some type of course. And they already
Community
passed
service.
community service. Yeah, they already passed that. And then, money laundering is a big deal, but it seemed like that's already been taken care of too, except for the way this episode ended. But I'm jumping too far ahead. I mean, do you feel like they resolve issues too quickly, or am I reaching a little bit with that?
I've liked the way they've done it for this show. Normally, I don't want issues resolved that quickly, but for me, it has worked. But it also says that they knew this was going to be the final season. They knew it. So when they start new problems, they want to get them resolved so that you don't have a conundrum in the final episode. Which, like you said, the way this episode ended, Avery, there's going to be a damn conundrum. There's a couple of conundrums. And I can't wait to see how they round it out.
Let us know what you think. We're curious. I don't know why I did that. I just wanted to be extra. Lamont, when you was in school, have you ever shot and made the game-winning buzzer beater? And everybody was like, oh my God, Lamont, yeah, we are the champions. That's what Will Smith did. And it got the attention of these coaches, but not the one he wanted or not enough. Like, hey, man, I like you. You got some skill, but our roster is full. What the hell are you doing here, though, in the first place, if the roster's full? It doesn't make sense. But, the Stingrays is another college offering a full scholarship right there on the spot. That's nice, man. Even though that's not the school that Will wants to go to, it's still a full ride, and you can use that full ride to pay for that education and get that degree that you want. And I like that they're portraying Will not to be just an athlete. He's like, no, I'm going to play ball, but I'm going to get my academics in too. What you think about Will crossing guys over and the offer from the school and all of that hot jazz? I also like how Uncle Phil. I'm Uncle Phil. This is my wife. How you feel about all that?
I was wondering if they was going to lead this thing up to neither one of them, Carlton or Will, getting into the schools they wanted to, and then they wound up having to go to a local LA school, the way they did the original show, and it looks like that is what is about to happen. And I like how they're sending these two young men through their own individual barriers and what it's like to try to go to college. Because I remember the process. I remember having to do FAFSA, and I didn't really get a lot of help from my mama. I remember scholarship opportunities. I remember going to Wake Forest, being one of the few black people that was an athlete, and all the white people think that everybody that's black is there for sports. I remember making these choices, and I'm glad that they're highlighting this in the way they're doing for these young men.
I do too. Are you cool with them though going to the local school?
As long as the local school can give them the enrichment they need, and enrichment, ladies and gentlemen, is more than just education. It's also the social aspect. As long as they can get the enrichment they need to be good adults, get a job, I'm fine with it.
Right on. Yeah, it really don't matter to me either. I will say I'm not mad at the coach for saying, "Hey, if you got a full ride here, if you're going to school here, the major is basketball." He was straight up and honest with them. You know, like here, I'm not here to be your friend, man. Like, there ain't no parade for me. If I don't win, I'm forgotten. I'm a ghost. I'm a fart in the wind. Now it's up to Will to be like, okay, I do want my education, but this coach is not the right man for me to vent to about that. You know, you're still getting a free education if you just play basketball. So it's up to Will to take advantage of the opportunity. Yeah, he's a bit puzzled and taken aback, but I'm not mad at the coach. I mean, I can respect the fact that he's being upfront and honest with them. How do you feel? Also, Carlton and his dilemma too. At one point he said, "I don't want to have to do another Bel-Air for 4 years. It may be best for him to enroll in that HBCU. That'll be a culture shock for him as well. But I think that culture shock is better than having to be Carlton Banks for another 4 years. Exceptional. All the black people are rooting for you. If you make it, we all make it. A lot of pressure, man. How you feeling about all that? Will and Carlton and Will. These choices, these dilemmas they have in front of them.
The writers did a good job of showing the kind of pressure and baggage that can be placed on people that young that shouldn't be placed on them due to others. And oftentimes this does happen. Carlton, I'm okay with that one. Bruh, if you're going to go to that school, you do have to uplift us. I mean, technically, you got to uplift us anywhere you go. But if you're going to be a zebra and you're going to be the black stripe on the zebra, you've got to stand out and you've got to be able to hold that. And honestly, Carlton is not in a mental place right now where he can handle that. And I'm fine with him being honest about that. And then over here to Will, I am not okay with the coach telling Will my job depends on your performance because I'm not okay with that shit. Like I mean, it's the truth. Yeah, it is the truth. But this is not a senior. This is not the team captain. He ain't none of that yet. And secondly, he's coming to your school. You want this boy to come to your school because you think he's that good. You don't tell him that your job is on it because now you're putting all this extra pressure on this boy that he don't really need right now. You putting pressure on him that could make his game worse. Secondly, you and your job security is not his problem. It's a team sport. You need to make the team better to get your job security going. Thirdly, let's say you do get fired. It's easy for you to go get another job as a coach. You can go coach Division II now. You're still going to have a job. I don't like the way you done that. You haven't even built a rapport with this boy yet. Don't do that to him. And I think Will is going to be like, nah, I don't need that. And to Will's point, he wanted to hammer home how important education is. And I can say, because I've done it, you can walk and chew gum at the same time, behavior. You can be about your education and your athletics. It's hard because it's hard, but you can do it. And I think Will should be a little bit more mindful that college, you're learning how to do multiple things at the same time and do it with great efficiency.
What would you have rather the coach done or said? when I think it was an information technology program. I can't remember exactly business. What would have made you happy from the coach when Will was having that sit down with him?
I would have said, look, young man, we are delighted to have you here. We will do everything we can in our power to make sure that you succeed, not only as an athlete, but as a student. It is my job to get the best out of you on the court. And it is also my job to get the best out of you as a human, as a male, as a person. Because if you graduate this school with your academics high and with your basketball career high, you do good in two areas. You've got the education, you might go to the NBA, and you'll be a great representation of what this school can do for anyone. And I'll keep my job for years to come.
Had to throw that last part in there. You know what I'm saying? I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't mad at you. I want to hear from y'all in the comment section. You know what you do if you was in this situation with Will and Carlton. You know, having to be super black excellence, another Bel-Air for 4 years, and Will not getting the exact news and motivation and encouragement, you know, from his coach that you think he should deserve. Let us know your thoughts.
Mhm.
I'm very, very curious. We did find out something else, Lamont. The sex of the baby. It is a
Yeah.
baby boy. Yes. What would have happened if it was pink? If it was a girl, would you have been cool with that if they switched it up on us?
Yeah, that wouldn't have bothered me. I mean, it wouldn't have bothered me. No, I would have been cool with it. I'm okay with it. I mean, you could have done. I mean, you could still name it Nikki if you wanted to. I would have been fine with it.
Okay. Okay. Let's speak about pregnancy, man. Erica and Aunt Viv are talking again, man. Are they gonna become best friends? Buddy, buddy? You know? Take the babies, shopping with them, strollers in the mall and at the park, play dates. What's up?
I feel something coming up with this. Now, y'all stick with me here. I see that friend wind up hooking up with Jeffrey. That's what I see by the end of this season. I see that because she
Wow.
doesn't have a good person in her life. Jeffrey wants family and a good woman in his life, and you could put them two together. And now he's got himself a new kid. She's got a good man, and I ultimately see her as an attorney playing some role to help this family, one way or the other one. I see it
You
coming.
you trust her.
Yeah, I trust her.
You
I
don't think
trust
she
her.
gonna you don't think she's gonna try to push up on Phil no more?
Nope, nope. She's gonna be Jeffrey's woman.
Hmm. Okay. Because she was like, hey, at least you have somebody to fall back on. Talking about Phil, her husband. We heard Aunt Viv express herself
Yeah.
later on in the episode about that. Lamont. Are
Mhm.
you cool with a woman popping up on you at your job? Like, hey, I see you got some free time. I want you to drop them draws and put it over here. I couldn't think of nothing crazy to say. Pam Oliver is a little horny cougar, man. Midday, noon, and she closing blinds. Like, I want you to beam me over these records right here. Jazz didn't seem as excited as she was.
Mhm.
Um, interesting. What are your thoughts about Miss Pamela Gordon, bro?
Oh, number one, I don't think hardly any man would turn down their lunch break getting a little head or something like. I don't think no man turning that down. Come on in here, baby. Even if it's from a cougar that is that fine. And when she came in there, be Avery, I knew she didn't have nothing on underneath that outfit. I knew it. But here lies the problem. Whenever you got to do something in the dark, that's a red flag.
Yes.
And I'm glad,
Yes.
I'm glad, I'm glad Jazz spider senses was tingling about that, even though it didn't stop him from doing it. Because I can tell you, when you get in that moment, man, it can be rough on you because that your body wants it. But speaking from experiences and having made mistakes in life, that 15 minutes of fun is not worth 15 years of regret. And you see how it all played out in the very end. And Jazz wants more from the relationship than what she's willing to give. And
Yeah,
so definitely there's some issues there with him.
I was why does he want to take her to dinner? Bro, did you really think you had to know what it was from the jump that y'all not finna have no long lasting flourishing relationship? She 20 years your age. Can I take you to dinner? Ah,
But
that bothered me. Not
but
that.
be Avery,
It's just like,
a
come on.
lot of a lot of these situations where one person just wants you to be the freak buddy, one of the other ones starts catching feelings. They start liking it. They start enjoying it. And um, if you're not the one whose intention solely is just get your rocks off, it can be rough. Like you can get drugged through the mud because you think that if I keep screwing them good enough, they're going to eventually say, "Hey, let's do this." And oftentimes
Of
it don't
course.
happen.
Of course, I believe all of that 100%. It would have just made more sense if the woman was Jazz's age. Did he really think, come on, bro, men can turn that. Jazz is seeing two player for that. Yeah, we know there's some slickbacks, some gummy bears out there that'll fall for the banana and tailpipe. But I don't want to see Jazz go out like that, wearing his heart on the sleeve, But that's just me. Maybe I'm looking into it a little bit too much, but I don't know. I just wanted more for Jazz. That's all.
And
Y'all
he
what
he might get more. He might get more.
mm. Y'all let us know what y'all think about that. I'm curious. Have you ever put together a car?
No,
No? Is
no.
that a skill that you wouldn't mind picking up?
I used to change my own oil. I had little ramps and all that. And I've always told Crystal and anyone who listened to my voice, one of these days I want to get a car. I want to get a American made car from my birth year, and I want to get a 67 Stingray.
No.
And so I don't know if I want to put them fully together, but I want to put parts of it together. And I enjoyed this because it's something that I think is a good tradition you can do with your sons.
Yeah. I loved it too. Teacher's responsibility, being self-sufficient, pride and hard work. Phil went off though, man. He was pissed. Hey man, just take a little gorilla glue and duck. This is not a game. If you're not gonna take this seriously, get the hell out of here. Damn. Was he justified in that crash out?
No, that was too much.
Really?
That was like the way he did that. There were other things on his mind, clearly, because the crime didn't fit the punishment. It didn't. Um, and you could also say that it had a very, very special sentimental tie too that we didn't know about at the time it happened, which begs to answer what I said. He had other things on his mind.
Should he have communicated that with the boys that, hey, at the very beginning? Because he did have the wrong expectations. I like what he was trying to teach and instill in them, but you can't expect somebody to have the same sentimental values and feelings for something that you do. It doesn't make sense. This is just a car. They didn't know that, this was their grandfather's or whatever. So yeah, I understand his frustration, but I think he did go off a little bit too much, a
Yeah.
little bit too much. So
And you've got to start teaching those kind of lessons way before this. I mean, anytime you can do it is fine, but you've got to start those type of things early. Like hell, Aunt Vivian was talking about Will putting 2 Tide Pods in the washing machine. I felt like she was talking straight to me because I do that right now myself.
hmm.
I put 2 Tide Pods when I wash my clothes now that I'm out here living single and shit. I do that. So I guess I better start putting one. But you've got to start instilling responsibility at a very young age. Like my son, when he messes up his stuff, we enforce him putting it all back. Because if you don't, they're going to grow up thinking that I can just, really not take care of myself in that area and leave it for somebody else to do. And you might not have nobody else to do it, and you shouldn't expect nobody else to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Uncle Phil has cleaned the money, $50 million
Mm.
taken care of. Says we're done. I make this deposit off to Veronica, his wife in real life. And he just had a conversation with Aunt Viv. She's scared. She got a baby coming.
Yeah.
And I couldn't consider this a threat, but Bill put his foot down and was like, I'm not going to be there, and this better be the end of it or else, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And it made Jeffrey feel some type of way, bro. This is the first time we're starting to see fractures in their relationship. Where you at on this, man? Was that inappropriate for Phil to do that? And also, same conversation with Aunt Viv, he was like, my priorities right now are my children and the one that's on the way. I don't have room to think about something else. And this is after Jeffrey made the last drop and was like, hey, I don't want to, we're done. Leave the banks alone. I'm trying to live a straight, legit life. But the boss lady was like, man, I'm the boss now. You should have been by my side. I want to go legit. And she trying to sow dissension in the ranks. Jeffrey, oh, this is your long game. You trying to turn me against my family? I know I threw a lot at you with Jeffrey versus Phil, Viv versus, no, I'm sorry. Uncle Phil versus Jeffrey, Viv versus Jeffrey, and Veronica versus Jeffrey. How's this going to play out, Lamont?
Veronica is not letting them out of that business. Jeffrey's not going to be with Veronica. Veronica's going to apply more pressure. They're going to have to find a new way to get rid of her. I didn't really see any beef between him and Phil, other than the fact that Phil is saying he's got a more dangerous way to deal with Veronica if she don't want to let him out the game. That's all I got from that. And whatever that dangerous way is, it's got Jeffrey alarmed. That's all I got out of that. And the relationship with him and Viv, it's real life. You can understand why her priorities is what she said. And this man, she feels like, is the center point for why this family's caught up in some illegal stuff that they shouldn't be. And when you are pregnant, you're trying to live the most stress-free life you can, and that's not helping. So I can understand why she was a little cold to him. And there's times when people can handle that level of callousness, but there's also times where you got to show a little bit more love. And this was a time she should have shown a little bit more love, even though what she did was real and what she said was real. Sometimes you got to deliver it in a better package.
Yeah, I feel you. And going back to Veronica, I like the angle that she played at first of like, I want to, I want you by my side. Let's be legit. Investments, real estate, this, that. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not mad at Jeffrey if he takes her up on her offer, if he obliges her. But I thought she lost when she threatened him, talking about, or, trying to be messy. Is the relationship going to be the same? She should have left it out. But she could have convinced Jeffrey, in my opinion. But, when she did that, kind of made her drop the ball, in my opinion. I gotta say, his suits were nice. But you think they're gonna be A-okay though? Jeffrey and on Viv and Jeffrey.
Yeah, they're gonna be good because I'm telling you, Viv is gonna hook Jeffrey up with the other lady that's pregnant, and Jeffrey's gonna be the best stepdaddy that little boy is gonna have. And they're gonna fix this.
Okay. Are they gonna fix Jazz as Cougar? He's married, bro. Smashing Jazz on the records. He's married, and also she runs and goes tells Aunt Vivian too. Woo! What's going on, man? Like, she's married. Poor Jazz, getting him caught up in some mess.
Yeah, that's the danger you play whenever you get involved in anything like that. But Jazz didn't know. He knows now, and I think he'll make the right decision. And there's literally there's no justification for cheating, but people oftentimes forget that a lot of times women in particular cheat because their emotional and physical needs, more so emotionals, aren't being met. And the statistics say that your intimacy needs not being met breaks up families more than cheating does. And I guess cheating becomes a response of lack of intimacy in your own marriage. That's what the data says. But it still don't mean you have to make the decision to do what she did. And so I do like that she tried to clean it up by going to tell Vivian what happened immediately. Oftentimes people let things like that spiral completely out of control, and then the mess is even bigger. But she went and handled the business, and hopefully this is going to be the end of her and Jazz, and she'll even apologize to him and just say, you know what, I'm sorry. um, you know I should have done better. I should have been an adult cougar and told the truth, but we'll put it behind us and now move on.
Right on. Such a great, mature response, sir. I love it. I love it. It seems like Carlton and Will got some more maturity as well. They went out there and fixed up the car, got the purple light from Jazz, trying to take on that
Mhm.
responsibility, get self sufficient. I thought it
Yep.
was wonderful that Phil offered both of them the car. That was nice, and they had that little joyride. But
Mhm.
what do you think about this, man? When Jeffrey went back to the crib of Veronica, he was outside posted up. Called Jeffrey. Jeffrey was like, "Yeah, I'm chilling." And what's going on there, man? Are they gonna be all right, or is the relationship over?
The relationship is not over. It's going through a rough patch right now. They're going to get through it. Phil knows something is going on. Phil's probably thinking Jeffrey might be going back to the dark days, which is why he's in there hanging out with her. He doesn't understand how she's trying to play them. And I think that there's going to be an event that is going to bring them all back together, and they'll be good by the end of the season. When we finally see the birth of baby Nikki, they'll be good.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. You got Will and Carlton looking at their acceptance letters, whether they should
Mhm.
sign or not. But going back when Pam was talking to Aunt Viv, confessing herself, I'm not judging you. You know, what are you talking about? Yeah, Charlie's Jazz. Inflated sales reports. Y'all popped up for suspicious activity on Viv. Blowing up Uncle Phil. Can't get in
Mm.
contact with him. Seems like her water broke, which seems extremely too early. She's stressed out. And Will has the feds pop up at not Will, but Jazz has the feds popping up at his crib talking about, hey, we need to talk about your relationship with Philip Banks. What the hell, man? The crap has hit the fun. The crap has hit the fan. They are on the radar in the worst way possible. And
Mm.
remember, Pam was like, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's nothing. It's the banks. Y'all are the nicest, most trusting people ever. And they laundering money. Why, Lamont? This breaks my heart. I don't want to see the banks go down. What are your thoughts, sir?
Bad situations happen to good people all the time. I mean, it's the balance of the pendulum, ladies and gentlemen, because you've seen so many times in history where some of the greatest human beings die young and early. Martin Luther King, Kennedy, and then you on the flip side of that, you see some of the most abhorrent, appalling human beings live a long life. And this is the balance of the pendulum. Sometimes good people doing the right thing, well intentioned, get caught up in life. And that's what happened in this situation. They got caught up in the stuff that was going on with Jeffrey. They volunteered for it because Jeffrey was their friend. They could have said no, but they love Jeffrey like he's a part of the family, so they got on down with it. But the trauma, the shock that it has caused Vivian has done put this woman into early labor, and that's not good. That is not good. I don't know if she's 27 weeks, 28 weeks. Anything before 32 weeks is not good. And I'm wondering how they're going to let this play out. And you saw what happened to Jazz, B. Avery. They roll up on Jazz, the feds kick in the door, waving the fofo. All you heard was Papa don't hit me no more. And they are going to try to get him to be an informant on Uncle Phil.
I'm sad. I don't know what I want the Banks to make it. I don't want any relationships to fall apart between Jeffrey, and the Banks. You know, Phil and Vivian. I want them to stay married. Um, I want Jazz to get out of this mess, and I want him to stop smashing married women, even though it's not his fault. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to our recap review for Bel-Air Season 4, Episode 5, Gorilla Glue and Duct Tape. We really do appreciate it. We will be here same time, same place for episode, 6 and 7. If you're watching this on my channel, please subscribe to Lamont's channel. If you're watching this on Lamont's channel, please subscribe to my channel. Links to all that wonderful stuff is in the description box below. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget, I'm B. Avery. That's Lamont, and that's just our pen. Peace out.